Hey, Raz from Just Mad here, and welcome to video number 3 of our 4-part series on remote design sprints. If you've missed our first few videos, make sure to click somewhere on the screen to see them. In this video, I'm going to cover everything you need to know about sprint preparation. Let's get right into it. We've discovered after running dozens of sprints that preparation is super important, and not focusing on it well enough can literally hijack your design sprint, even before starting, especially when you're going remote. Now, you might say, but Raz, the whole point of doing a sprint is to move quickly, right? Why waste time preparing? Look, although I know that indeed the sprint is meant to accelerate ideation, prototyping, and testing, and some might consider the whole preparation thing counterintuitive, based on our own experience, doing prep work is crucial. You can't just decide on a Thursday that next week you're gonna do a design sprint. You need to do a few things to make sure that, number one, you as a facilitator have everything you need in order to run a proper session, and two, know that your team is aligned on what you'll be working on, among many other factors that we will cover in just a minute. Now, you don't need to do 2 months of preparation, don't get me wrong. That would be just irrational, but a few days should be just enough. Here's what we do whenever we prepare for a design sprint, especially a remote one. Number one, contextualize yourself with the problem. Once you know the design sprint is going to happen, it's important to familiarize yourself with the problem at hand. Talk to the key stakeholders, find out who is responsible for what in the team and what effect they have in regards to the actual challenge. This will help you choose the right people for the sprint and better prepare the overall session. Number two, building your sprint team. The whole point of the design sprint is to get the right people to focus on the same problem together and generate solutions, right? Building the right sprint team is paramount and will assure the success of your sprint. You're looking to get a team of 5 to 7 people, including yourself. The roles you're looking for are 1. A decider, a facilitator, a designer, someone from marketing, someone from engineering, PR, and probably sales. Now, this would be an ideal mix for the sprint team, but of course you can adjust the roles depending on the needs and the problem. Okay, now you have your sprint team. Great. It's all about scheduling the calls now. Aligning schedules is crucial when working with distributed teams. You don't want to have people waking up at 5 a.m. or staying late until 11 p.m. We try to fit people in a 9-hour window, as displayed on the screen. And it's also important to let people know when you'll need them. We use a tool called Doodle to schedule all of our sessions. And if you watched the previous video, Anna mentioned World Time Buddy, which is a quirky little tool for easy time zone overview. But Raz, hold up, my team is super distributed. There are people everywhere. What do I do then? Well, for example, if you have someone who is in San Francisco and someone else who's in Mumbai, you'll most probably have to run asynchronous sessions and then combine all of the results. But if there's an important decision to be made, someone will have to make a small sacrifice and join at a pretty weird hour. Next up, creating a design sprint brief. Once you have your dream team and everything is scheduled, you create a brief using the link we put down in the description. Anna mentioned this in our last video, and she also mentioned that this is the core document that is meant to align all the participants on what to expect from the upcoming design sprint. It's proven to be super useful. It includes the outline of the challenge, the schedule, the time frame, as well as a checklist of things to do. Please go ahead and check it out and feel free to use it for your own sprints. Here's a quick preview of what we include in our design sprint brief. Remember, this is the core document we send out to everyone in the sprint team for clarity purposes. First off, we just welcome them and tell them what this document is all about and introduce the sprint team, clearly indicating the decider and the facilitator. Then we give a quick overview of what the design sprint is and link an article for them to explore. We also talk about the guiding principles of the sprint, just so we manage expectations a little bit better. And then we jump into the task. Here we talk about the challenge, the idea, the initiative that we'll be tackling in our upcoming design sprint, and clearly state the expectations, what will happen by the end of the entire session. Then we talk about the schedule, when we'll need them and for how long. Make sure to update this to be relevant to your scheduling efforts. Then we introduce the environment, the online collaborative tool, which is Miro, that we use for every remote design sprint. We make sure to link 2 quick intro videos going to the board basics and navigation for Miro. This has proven to be super useful for us. Then we give them a quick checklist of items to go through, nothing too complicated, and some final remarks. Next up on our list is problem framing. Research is often seen as a daunting and tiresome process that has no immediate benefits. But problem framing is crucial to your design sprint preparation. It implies doing just enough research around the problem you're trying to solve. Talk to key people, look at data or analytics, and depending on your problem type, you can conduct audits or interviews to find out as much as you can about the challenge. This will help you set the stage and get everyone aligned before the sprint starts. Doing preparatory calls with your sprint team. From our own personal experience, it's a really good idea to give everyone an overview of what's going to happen in a design sprint. I know, you send them the brief, but it still makes sense to run them through what's going to happen. The design sprint is really intense, and they have to be aware of what to expect. This is a great chance for you as a facilitator to get everyone on the same page and manage expectations in case people are still reluctant about the value of the sprint. And although it might sound obvious, please make sure that people know how to use the collaborative tool. In our scenario, Miro, we always do a training in which we tell people how to use the basic functions of the tool so they don't have any surprises and don't waste a lot of time in the actual session. Okay, that was it. This is our exact recipe for making sure you're 100% prepared for your remote design sprint. In this video's description, you're going to find an absolute critical checklist that goes through all of the things that we just talked about. Use that as your guide when running preparation for your remote design sprint. Do you have anything to add or have any questions? Make sure to drop them in the comment section below. Somewhere on the screen, you'll see the link to video number 4, where we'll walk you through the best practices of facilitating the actual design sprint. It's the most important part of this entire series, so make sure to watch it. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to find out when we launch a new video. Bye!